I, 37-year-old male, have been with my wife, 26-year-old female, for 5 years and married for 4 years. We have 3 kids from her previous relationships, 2 boys and 1 girl between the ages of 5 and 8. I really love her and her kids. Things were perfect until 3 or 4 months ago. I've had 3 big promotions in 5 years. We bought a house last year. She stays home with the kids and is trying to make a social media career happen. I have always been on the fence about having kids, but she really wanted us to have one together, so I agreed to try to have my vasectomy reversed. She's 7 months pregnant now. We were so happy. My ex-wife, 38-year-old female, divorced me in 2019 and moved about 2 hours away a few months into the pandemic. Our divorce was amicable, but once it was finalized, I never heard from her again, even when I would wish her well on birthdays and holidays. I even sent her a graduation gift when I heard that she finished her PhD program. Other people in our social circle, including my parents and sister-in-law who sent her a gift, received handwritten thank you cards. I didn't get so much as a text. My ex-wife is a really kind and thoughtful person, and the woman I knew would have at least sent a thank you text if her worst enemy sent her a gift. Even though we broke up, I didn't think she hated me. My best friend, 35-year-old male, and I were best friends since college. He's the best person I know, and at least 10 people think he's their best friend, but he said that I was his always. We kind of lost touch during the pandemic. We live 2 hours apart, and he is a lawyer and teaches classes at a university, so he is really busy. I have a really busy career and a new wife and 3 kids. I didn't really realize that the texts between us were fewer, and that the last time he finally replied to me was in late 2021. He also falls off the face of the earth when he gets with a new girl, and then when things cool off, we all hear from him more. We have always been the kind of friends that could go an extended period of time without communicating and then pick up right where we left off. I kept saying that I would eventually call him when things were less busy. My wife and I went to visit the city he and my ex-wife live in last summer for a week, and I tried calling him a couple of times to meet up, but he never answered. I was sad, but just figured he was busy with work or obsessed with a new girlfriend. I have other friends there, so I got to see them. Then I went to the city again by myself in October for a Halloween party. I figured he'd be at this party, and I was psyched that I'd get to see him then. He was there. When I went to say hi and hug him, he looked a little surprised and gave me a weak hug. I told him that I was there during the summer and that I tried calling him so we could hang out. He just said, "Yeah, I was on my honeymoon that week. Sorry I didn't get back to you." I was really shocked to hear that he'd gotten married and a little hurt that my best friend got married without me even knowing he had a serious girlfriend, but still happy for him. Like I said, he was a great guy and girls love him. I spit out a rush of questions, like who is she, where is she, what's her name, what's she like, where'd you meet her, how long have you been together? He paused for a moment and then just bluntly said, "It's ex-wife's name." My ex-wife doesn't have a unique name or anything, but it isn't the most common name either, and instantly I knew that it was her. I can't describe how it felt to hear those 2 words come out of his mouth. I felt sick to my stomach, and I immediately wanted to die. I have never felt like that before. I just said, "What the frick?" He told me that I didn't get to be mad because I broke her heart, and they didn't start dating until 2 years after we got divorced, and that I chose to be with some waitress anyway. I drank the rest of the weekend because it was the only way I was able to sleep. I feel betrayed by both of them. My best friend since I was 20 years old married my ex-wife behind my back. I was married to her for 6 years, and they were never even friends, and now they are in love with each other. I also found out that he talked shit about my current wife and me behind my back and never liked her. I went back home, and I know that I was distant with my wife and the kids because I was just hurting so much. After a couple of weeks, we had a big fight, and she called me out on being distant and accused me of cheating. I finally came clean and told her about my ex and my best friend, which she scoffed about and said she'd known about them for a long time now because of social media. I flew into a rage and we fought for hours. She betrayed me by not telling me the entire time she knew. She didn't say anything when I mentioned my best friend not returning my calls or messages. I didn't get to sleep before going to work, and after work, I just stayed with my parents for a few days. When I finally went back home, we got into another fight where she accused me of still being in love with my ex and said that I wouldn't care if I wasn't. I called her stupid and said that she wouldn't understand because she doesn't have any friends. I wouldn't care if my ex-wife got married to anyone else if it wasn't my best friend. I don't see what is so hard to understand about that. We made up eventually, but I feel sick to my stomach every day, and things aren't the same in our relationship. I love my wife, but I've come to realize it's not the same way I loved my ex-wife. My wife doesn't love me the same way my ex-wife did either. I have started to regret the things that led to our divorce because we were really happy until the moment she left me. I don't even have my best friend to call because he's too busy freaking my ex-wife to care about me anymore. Everything feels empty and like a lie now. A lot of friends agree that they both betrayed me but think I need to move on. Even my dad and brother told me to get over it. My sister-in-law yelled at me and my mom tries to comfort me, but I know she's overhearing about my problems. I have to pretend I'm okay. No one gives a shoot about mental health when it comes to men. I suggested couples therapy to my wife, but she said that she thinks we are okay since we worked through things. I guess I have to pretend for the rest of my life now because divorce is not on the table. I need advice on what to do and how to get closure. I am thinking of driving to their city to just show up and force them to talk to me so I can move on. Is that too much to ask? How do I get my wife to see that it is hard to trust her after knowing she kept a big secret from me for a long time? Update. The overwhelming consensus here is that I am a piece of shit, which is true. The other consensus is that I need therapy. I asked my brother to help me, but neither of us even know where to begin to find a therapist. He said he would ask his wife to help us, and she texted me this morning and said she was only helping because of my brother. I guess that's fair. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. So basically, the ex-wife that you cheated on moved on with your best friend, and you're upset because you feel they betrayed you? Your ex owes you less than nothing, and your friend knows that you cheated and hasn't really been in contact with you either. Neither owe you an explanation. You imploded your life years ago, and you then moved on and got remarried. She did the same. Your current wife is right to call you out. Get ready for another divorce. Comment 2. Advice on what to do. Get some therapy. You made your bed, so don't complain that it isn't comfy enough. You are not the victim here. You cheated while married to your ex, so what she does now is absolutely none of your business. Your ex-bestie probably lost respect for you once you broke your ex-wife's heart. Have fun getting a restraining order put out against you if you do show up and try to force either of them to talk to you. Now for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a wild couple of weeks since my last post, and I've got some updates that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. First off, I took the advice about therapy seriously. My brother's wife, despite her blunt text, actually came through and found a therapist for me. I've had a few sessions now, and it's been something. I'm not sure if it's helping yet, but at least I'm talking to someone. Now, on to the juicy stuff. Remember how I said my wife knew about my ex and my best friend getting together? Well, turns out she knew a lot more than that. After our last big fight, things were tense at home, but we were trying to keep it together for the kids. Then, one night, she sat me down and dropped a bombshell. She confessed that she had been in contact with my ex. They weren't exactly friends, but they'd been talking on and off since before she got pregnant with our child. My wife said she reached out to my ex for advice on dealing with me because she felt I was still hung up on my past. They bonded over their shared experiences with me, and my ex apparently gave her some insights into my personality and quirks. I was floored. I felt like I was living in some soap opera where everyone knew more about my life than I did. My wife insisted that she kept it from me because she didn't want to add to my stress, especially with the baby on the way. She thought it would just be a temporary thing, but then my ex and best friend got married, and it all spiraled from there. But wait, there's more. My best friend finally reached out to me. He said he felt guilty about how everything went down and wanted to clear the air. We met up at a halfway point between our cities, and he explained his side of the story. He told me that after my divorce, he and my ex would occasionally bump into each other since they were in the same city. One thing led to another, and they started dating. He said he didn't tell me because he thought I had moved on and was happy with my new life. He also admitted that he was the one who convinced my ex not to reach out to me after I sent her the graduation gift. He thought it would be best for everyone to keep their distance. I didn't know what to feel. Angry, betrayed, sad. It was all a mess. We talked for hours, and by the end of it, I was just exhausted. I told him I needed time to process everything. Back at home, things with my wife were still rocky. We had another fight, this time about her talking to my ex. I couldn't believe she'd gone behind my back like that. She argued that she was just trying to understand me better and support our family, but I felt like my privacy had been violated. In the midst of all this, my sister-in-law, the one who yelled at me before, reached out to apologize. She said she didn't realize how much all of this was affecting me and offered to be a listening ear if I ever needed to vent. It was a small comfort, but I appreciated it. I've been trying to focus on the kids and the upcoming birth of our child, but it's hard. Every day feels like I'm just going through the motions, pretending everything is okay when it's not. My parents have been supportive, but they're also pushing me to forgive and move on. They keep reminding me that I have a new family now and that I need to be there for them. It's not that easy, though. I haven't decided if I'm going to drive to their city to confront my ex and best friend together. Part of me wants to, just to get some closure, but another part of me is scared of what I might find out. As for my wife, we're still at an impasse about therapy. She doesn't think we need it, but I'm not so sure. I'm starting to feel like I'm the only one who sees how messed up everything is. My girlfriend accuses me of cheating for helping a friend, so she dumps me and I feel free with true friends by my side, and Reddit support confirms I did the right thing. Some relevant information. My girlfriend S and I have been dating for just under a year. My best friend X has been dating a girl T for a couple of years, who I also consider a friend of mine. She T happens to live 10 minutes away from me, while he X lives 40 minutes away. He lives with his mom as she's ill, while T lives alone. 2 days ago, while being out with X and T, they asked me if I could drop T off as it's close to mine, and X had to be home ASAP as he takes care of his mom. S was out with her friends and couldn't make it. For the last 4 years of going out with X and T, almost 80% of the time, I would drop T off when we go out. So when I dropped T off, I pulled into her driveway and said our goodnight. She got out of the car, and I'm not sure what happened, but she slipped and hit the back of her head pretty hard on the concrete. I got out and helped her up, put her in the car, and asked if she was okay. She said no, so I offered to take her to the hospital as I thought she might have a concussion. We got to the hospital. I called X and told him what had happened. He asked me if I could stay with T until they release her as his mom wasn't doing well that night. As she's getting checked, I updated my girlfriend S on the situation. She seemed very cold and distant. I thought she might just be sleeping as it was late. The next day, she messaged me a big text about the following. I've broken her trust by taking T to the hospital. It's not my job to take her to the hospital, it's X's. T is just faking this to get attention. Hitting your head doesn't require you to go to the hospital. T has a crush on me, and I'm playing along with it. S is refusing to understand my perspective and that I did the right thing. She wants me to apologize to her and start doing things to regain her trust. This isn't the first time something like this happened. She has accused me of having an affair with my manager, who's twice my age, happily married. I used to go to the gym at 6 a.m. That became an issue, so I stopped, as she suspected me of going there to meet someone. I've not once done anything related to cheating or cheated ever in my life. She has been cheated on multiple times, and she keeps constantly thinking that I would do the same. Honestly, I'm getting drained from these constant accusations when I haven't done anything wrong. Am I being overdramatic as I'm considering leaving her? Update. I went to her place, sat her down to explain to her my side. She cut me off and told me everything wrong I've done towards her, such as entertaining other women at work. I work in a team that consists of 7 women and I'm the only man. Not making her feel secure, not making her feel that she can trust me, making my friends a priority, taking T to the hospital who actually ended up having a concussion, having an inappropriate relationship with my manager. The inappropriate relationship in question is my manager sending memes to a work group chat. Explaining the points here because I wasn't given a chance to. She didn't want to listen to anything I want to say about her being insecure and not trusting me, and that all I'm doing is gaslighting her. I tried to be logical in regards to explaining. When my friend hit her head, the only right thing to do was to take her to the hospital. She said I should have called an ambulance instead, and there was no reason for me to stay at the hospital the whole time with her, since she was around doctors and nurses. In regard to Mr. P, kitten, she told me to go frick myself and that it was a gift and that there's no chance I'm getting him back. She kept pushing my emotion and feelings aside, and it upset me at the time, and I just stayed quiet until she finished what she had to say. Thanked her for her time, wished her luck, and told her to collect my stuff, put it in a box, and I'd do the same and bring it to her once I'm free. So with all that going on, I said bye to Sir Pancake. She wasn't happy with my reaction or lack of twinkling Dieter to all she had to say, and told me, go play Mr. Saves the Day with my many intimacy workers. Checked my Rolodex of intimacy workers, came up empty. It's been a long butt day. I feel a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I'm gonna go stuff my face with some nice food, probably go to sleep. Not sure how I'm gonna get through this work week. Thank you everyone who read and gave their opinion on the topic. I didn't want to involve my friends X, T, or S, as this was somewhat about them, and I didn't want them to feel in any way responsible for my decision. The purpose of my post was to see if I was going crazy or her, as her overreaction to the situation shook me and made me question my decision of taking my friend to the hospital. I'm glad I did the right thing. To anyone who complained about me using XTS, sorry. It was easy for me to read. Didn't think about it from your perspective. Thank you. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not being dramatic at all. Sounds like she is projecting, especially with her history. I would say chances are she has been running around on you. But dude, I would leave if she can't see and appreciate you doing the right thing and having compassion for another person. For most, that would be a green flag, and she is out here trying to twist it into something sinister in her mind. Comment 2. Thanks to everyone who took the time out of their day to respond. I have messaged her that we need to talk, and I'm going to end it tonight. Honestly, after reading all these comments, I realized I was way happier when I was single. I have accommodated and adjusted my life way more than I should have to make sure she feels secure, and it has done frick all. Thank you all. Now for the update. Hey Reddit, a lot has happened since my last post, and I'm here to spill the tea on the latest drama. So after the whole hospital ordeal with T, things with my girlfriend S went from bad to worse. I thought I was doing the right thing by helping a friend in need, but S saw it as a betrayal. She's always been a bit insecure due to her past relationships, but this time she really blew things out of proportion. I tried to talk to S about everything, to clear the air, but as soon as I got to her place, she started listing all the things she thought I was doing wrong. She accused me of entertaining other women at work, which is ridiculous because I'm the only guy on a team with 7 women. It's not like I can avoid talking to them. And then she brought up my manager again, even though the only thing she's guilty of is sending memes to our work group chat. S also said I wasn't making her feel secure or trusted, and that I was prioritizing my friends over her. She was especially upset about me taking T to the hospital and staying with her. She argued that I should have called an ambulance and left T with the hospital staff. But I couldn't just leave her there alone. She's a friend, and X was dealing with his sick mom. The conversation got heated, and S told me to go frick myself over the whole Mr. P kitten situation. She said it was a gift and that I had no right to ask for him back. I was really upset, but I managed to keep my cool. I just listened until she was done, thanked her for her time, and told her we should exchange our stuff when we could. I left feeling like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I said goodbye to Sir Pancake, which was tough, but S's reaction to everything made me realize I was making the right decision by walking away. I've been trying to keep my mind off things by focusing on work and hanging out with friends. X and T have been supportive, even though I didn't want to drag them into this mess. They know they're not to blame for what happened between S and me. It's been a rough few days, but I'm starting to feel better. I'm going to treat myself to some good food and try to get some rest. This work week is going to be tough, but I'll get through it. Thanks to everyone who read my posts and shared their thoughts. It helped me see that I wasn't going crazy and that I did the right thing by helping T. And for those confused by the initials, sorry about that. It was just easier for me to keep track of everything. My husband uses our sick baby's medicine, and when I call him out, he explodes and admits to cheating, so I'm left juggling 2 kids and a crumbling marriage while he sleeps in the guest room. Some background. My husband, 33-year-old male, works at a hospital and voluntarily works a lot of overtime. I, 33-year-old female, work full-time for the state in a desk job. We have a 9-month-old baby, and I'm 10 weeks pregnant. His parents are visiting for 2.5 weeks. Since baby started daycare last month, the whole family has been sick continuously, coughing and phlegm for a month. Now baby has a double ear infection and an eye infection. I got medicine on Wednesday evening, including antibiotic eye drops. On Thursday night, my husband had some discharge in his eye that I pointed out. He wanted to take baby's eye drops. Initially, I asked for how long. He said a couple of days, then switched to the whole 7 days. I told him to get his own script tomorrow. He works, but he can go after work to urgent care. He got upset because he said baby's prescription is enough for multiple people to do the entire series. I later learned it was. But I was busy with baby this entire conversation, and still just concerned with ensuring baby had enough medication for herself, and felt he should get his own script. I was busy with baby nighttime routine. His mom was apparently telling him not to take the drops. I grabbed the eye drops to wash the outside because the doctor emphasized washing hands before handling the eye drop bottle to ensure it's sanitized when giving it to baby. I had been cleaning the bottle and hands to give my husband the eye drops tonight. When I came back to the living room, my husband then threw something saying how me and his mom were annoying and there's enough drops. I told him to calm down. I'm giving him drops. But yes, I was still concerned with him getting the entire series of baby eye drops. He later asked me if I wouldn't take the eye drops if I needed them. And I said no, I'd get my own and leave baby hers. He then said, well, then I wouldn't give you my medicine even if you were dying. I, of course, got very upset by this needlessly hurtful comment. He doubled down saying, that's your policy, when no talk of dying or anything as dramatic had ever been discussed. I was just concerned to ensure baby has enough medicine, regardless if it's an excess amount. He later apologized because I cried, but he was still making excuses for why he reacted that way. He's been saying, don't expect me to help with anything. I need to get better and take care of myself, because he's sick and works a lot. His parents have been helping to take care of baby and household chores. But I've been bathing baby, playing with her, taking her to the doctor, doing bedtime routine, changing diapers, giving baby her medicine. I'm the only one getting up with baby every night. While sick, she sometimes gets up 3 times a night. My husband has done nothing with baby since his parents have been here. Twice in the last couple of days, I asked my husband to help with just letting the dog in or feeding the dog. But because his feelings are hurt by the eye drops incident and he needs his rest, he doesn't want to help. I yelled at him too and cried some more. He says he'll help even when he doesn't want to. How do I even address this with him at this point? I feel he's being extremely immature and needlessly hurtful. Edit to say, my husband has made sacrifices and has stepped up for the family in many ways. He works a lot, but he claims he enjoys working and he makes good money. He has a great work ethic at work, and he voluntarily chose to stay in a higher stress job in order for me and baby to have the best health insurance. We've agreed I'll switch to only work part-time when baby number 2 comes and be the primary caregiver. But yes, it's been a struggle with balancing the at-home expectations and incidents like this. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. So he is hurt enough to declare he would not save your life? Girl, you need to be real with yourself on this. No decent partner would ever say that to their loved one. That is not something stress would make a decent person say. My husband has made sacrifices and has stepped up for the family in many ways. He works a lot. It doesn't mean anything if he is not also a good partner or father. Comment 2. First off, you never share eye drops. I cannot believe he works in a hospital and does not know that. It is a great way to spread germs. Secondly, part of being a grown-up is taking responsibility for your own health. He needs to get over himself and visit the doctor. I am sorry you are having to deal with him. Now for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a month since my last post, and boy, do I have an update for you all. Things have taken a turn, and not for the better. Remember how my husband and I had that fight over the eye drops? Well, that was just the tip of the iceberg. After his parents left, things went from tense to downright icy between us. My husband, let's call him Mark, has been pulling away more and more. He's still working those long hours at the hospital, and now he's started going out after work too. He says it's with colleagues, but I can't shake this feeling that there's more to it. Back when we first met, Mark was the life of the party, always surrounded by friends and admirers. I was the quiet one, content with my books and my small circle. But we clicked, you know. He was my rock during the rough patches, like when I lost my job a few years back. And I've been his, like when he lost his brother in that car accident right before we got married. We've been through so much together. But now, it's like we're strangers living under the same roof. The other night, I woke up to feed our baby girl, and I noticed Mark wasn't in bed. I found him on the couch, phone in hand, quickly switching off the screen as I walked in. When I asked him about it, he snapped at me, saying he couldn't sleep and was just playing a game to relax. But the look on his face, it was like he was hiding something. The heartbreak hit me like a ton of bricks when I discovered the truth. I was cleaning up and found a receipt for a fancy restaurant, the kind we used to go to on special occasions. It was dated for one of those nights he said he was working late. My mind raced with questions and fears. Was Mark seeing someone else? After all we'd been through, how could he do this to me, to our family? I confronted him about the receipt, and that's when the dam broke. He admitted he'd been feeling trapped, that the pressure of work and family life was too much. He said he needed an escape, and yes, he'd been seeing someone from the hospital. It wasn't just a physical thing, he insisted, but an emotional connection too. I couldn't believe it. The man I'd built my life with, the father of my children, was telling me he found solace in the arms of another woman. The arguments that followed were explosive. I was a mix of anger, betrayal, and sorrow. I couldn't look at him without picturing him with her. And yet, I was also terrified of what this meant for our future, for our kids. How do you just let go of a decade of love and shared history? Mark's been sleeping in the guest room since then. He's still helping with the baby, but it's like he's doing it out of obligation rather than love. We're like two co-parents living together for the sake of our children, not a couple. It's heartbreaking to see how indifferent he's become, how easily our life together has unraveled. I've been trying to keep it together for our baby girl and the one on the way. I've taken on more at home, juggling work, doctor's appointments, and all the baby duties. I'm exhausted, both physically and emotionally. I've cried more in this past month than I have in years. It's hard to accept that the man I love, the one who used to be my partner in everything, has become the source of my deepest pain. And yet, despite everything, there's a part of me that still hopes we can find our way back to each other. Maybe it's foolish, but I can't help it. I remember the good times, the love we shared, and I cling to the possibility that we can overcome this. But right now, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time, for my kids and for myself. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.